Chapter 722. Does the blood on your clothes also stem from that incident? It would seem so, came the nonchalant reply. Kishir, upon this remark, glanced briefly at the bloodstains on his garment, acknowledging them anew. Though no matter of great concern to him, Yidhi remembered the intense pounding of his heart when he first saw those stains from afar, the memory still vivid. As Yidhi's gaze grew increasingly cold, Kishir explained the recent events with a smile. After dispatching my assistant on my way back to the branch, the carriage suddenly lost direction and started shaking uncontrollably. Then arrows came flying out of nowhere. Stepping outside, I was confronted by unfamiliar assailants. It would sound odd to say that sudden attacks like blind arrows piercing the carriage was common, but for Kishir, such incidents had been almost routine. Ever since the previous emperor's passing, attempts on the life of Emperor Kalusa and his entourage were nearly a daily routine. Even while living inconspicuously in Paleta, Kishir faced clever assassination attempts now and then. Known as a man marked for death, there were always those who desired to hasten his end. Those pictures. Within the wildly shaking carriage, Kishir sat quietly, maintaining his balance as if he were in another world, thanks to his subtle mystery of force and almost unreal sight. "My Lord Duke Paleta, are you all right?" shouted the coachman, opening the small door connecting to the carriage's interior, his voice loud with concern and alarm. He suggested leaping out at a clearer spot given the uncontrolled speed of the horses. Kishir, unsurprised, nodded in agreement. "That seems wise," he concurred. "I'm sorry, I will try to stop the horses," the coachman began. "No need. I will get down first and deal with the enemies. That will divert their attention. And you can continue driving," Kishir advised calmly. "What?" The coachman, dodging arrows, was astonished, not having noticed that the arrows had been missing their target all along, thanks to Kishir's push and pull abilities. "It's too dangerous to abruptly stop the carriage for both you and the horses. Why risk lives needlessly here?" Kishir responded, still smiling. "But," the coachman protested, still baffled. "Just a bit further is the cavalry branch. Break through at the first chance and call for reinforcements. A few might follow, but if you trust my words and don't delay, it's doable." This suggestion of seeking support was unexpected to the coachman, who had thought Kishir intended to flee alone. Yet Kishir offered no further explanation. The carriage door suddenly swung open with a loud noise without being touched. Despite the perilous swaying door, Kishir rose, stepping out as if about to descend comfortably. "Not now, my lord!" The coachman, thinking it wasn't the right time to open the door, cried out in alarm. To his astonishment, Kishir landed lightly on the ground without any apparent impact. Amid the coachman's astounded gaze, the barrage of arrows ceased, and the faces of the mysterious assailants began to emerge. Thanks to Kishir's foresight, the carriage, unnoticed by anyone, found its path surprisingly clear ahead. The coachman, realizing that everything had unfolded as Kishir predicted, clenched his teeth and steered the horses towards the southern branch, speeding away as he caught a last glimpse of the assailants converging on the Duke of Paleta. Watching the carriage disappear, Kishir surveyed his surroundings with an inscrutable smile. There were about 15 assailants in total. They seemed too conspicuous for assassins, dressed not in battle gear but in ordinary civilian clothes, some clothed in robes that didn't stand out much. Most notably, they appeared to be awakeners. Their eyes shone with excitement and tremor, weapons at the ready. Yet within those eyes there was an unmistakable trace of fear and uncertainty, unfamiliar with the situation at hand. Surrounded by them, Kishir, unfazed and smiling, kindly initiated the conversation. "So many guests to greet in such a place. Shouldn't you at least tell me where you are from?" "We are," someone began to reply. "Don't answer him. Remember, the Duke of Paleta is an awakener too. Get back." A woman interrupted, likely the group's leader. Sarah. Kishir pretended not to hear her name, muttered by the hesitant assailants, but he made sure to remember it. Paying attention elsewhere while keeping his ears open for crucial information was one of his specialties. They knew who Kishir was. Their pursuit and attack indicated that this wasn't a spontaneous encounter but a premeditated ambush, possibly connected to the untimely death of the second prince of Honi and the fact that Kishir might be absent from the southern branch. It seemed impossible unless they were behind the second prince of Honi's death. Sarah, the apparent leader, didn't strike Kishir as exceptionally skilled or powerful, leading him to wonder who truly orchestrated this group. With a seemingly vacant gaze, Kishir's mind worked rapidly, drawing near accurate conclusions that others might miss. Before Kishir could identify the real leader within the group, the assailants, deciding they couldn't delay further, charged again. You three, follow the carriage. The rest proceed as planned. Block the path so he can't escape. Three were chasing the carriage. Kishir hoped the coachman remembered his instructions and didn't look back. As Sarah gave the order, the attack commenced in a somewhat coordinated manner. Lacking the finesse of professional assassins or the refined strength of cavalry members, the Awakener assailants made up for their inexperience with their extraordinary abilities. They showed signs of training, albeit unorthodox. Kishir, using his mastery of pull and push forces, moved swiftly, dodging the attacks. He could move faster but deliberately moderated his speed to narrowly evade, provoking his adversaries further. Damn it! How did he dodge like that? My arrows can't reach him. Fools, that must be the Duke's power. Don't get entangled. Keep attacking. Even as she spoke, Sarah's face contorted in response to the unexpected turn of events. The Duke of Paleta, arrogantly alone and without even drawing the sword at his waist, was an impressive figure. Despite rumors of his frailty, his tall stature and solid build were initially startling. They thought him no serious threat, assuming his ability to merely evade attacks was the extent of his power. Yet, frustratingly, they couldn't land a single blow on him. The plan was straightforward. Swiftly strike a blow at the Duke of Paleta and the core of the cavalry, then retreat. Lingering in combat within the city, even in the outskirts, was not advantageous for them. Shit. Beside Sarah, a comrade fiercely launched a sharpening twig like a dagger at the Duke of Paleta. Kishir, however, evaded this and other simultaneous attacks with eel-like agility, his fluttering clothes gently nicked and torn by the sharp assaults almost gracelessly. How could he so effortlessly dodge the attacks of over 10 assailants? And as the time passed, it seemed increasingly as if Kishir was getting better at predicting their individual moves, an impossible thought that in fact was true. Kishir was deliberately observing their attacks to gather information, a concept beyond Sarah's understanding. As the notion that they might be overpowered by the Duke of Paleta dawned on Sarah, she, gripped by anxiety, unwittingly glanced towards the collaborator who had suggested this assault and revealed the opportunity. One of the southern merchants, cloaked in a robe and aided in the attack, felt her gaze and turned his head, signaling not yet time to retreat. They had said once the Duke of Paleta was taken down, they would create an escape route for the southern merchants. With the plan not going as expected, Sarah wondered if it was time to deploy that method. However, the merchant, catching Sarah's look, firmly shook his head, indicating it wasn't yet time to fall back. Just as Sarah was about to bite her lip and order a change in attack plan, she locked eyes with Kishir's piercing red gaze, which had been watching her all along. Feeling as if her thoughts and emotions were laid bare, she flinched, and in that moment, Kishir spoke up cheerfully. Found you. You're the real head leading these people. The identified southern merchant stiffened momentarily. Before he could react, Kishir, who had been evading until then, charged at him with incredible speed, a stark contrast to his previous movements. The merchant struggled, flailing his weapon as Kishir grasped his throat. Another Sudra merchant shouted something in an unfamiliar language and began rummaging for something in his clothing. Before it could be recognized, whatever it was, an unseen force exploded from Kishir, pushing everyone back with immense pressure. Sarah and her comrades, caught off guard, screamed and tumbled backward. What is that? They spat out the dust, trying to steady their dizzying heads. Through the settling dust, they saw the Duke of Paleta now wielding a silvery sword.